I shouldn't make the assumption that people understand the kind of person I am simply because I've been on council for the last 6 years. There is a public persona and there's a private one. So it might be helpful for people to know before they vote for me again that I'm a grandmother. I have 4 grandchildren. I have an engagement, a strong one, with an interest in Myanmar, and I'm currently involved in a heritage restoration, the Big Ben of Yangon, with a group of Melbourne clock enthusiasts. I very much enjoy the West Coast and the wilder side of the state. I'm an advocate for the arts, but my particular enthusiasm in the arts is ballet. My husband is into opera. I like it, but not so much as dance. I love that. I believe that the key, however, in relation to culture and the arts is exposure. There is a saying I heard once which guides me and reminds me that I have to try new things. Have you all heard of this? You know what you like and you like what you know. The trick is to get people to know more and therefore develop more about what they like. So this is something that I'm very anxious to progress on council. I'm very much in favour of accessibility, and I mean that in the broadest sense. This city has to be accessible on a number of levels, and I'm working very hard to achieve that. I think I'm very well placed to understand what is on offer in this city for families, having 3 generations in the city with me now. I've lived in the inner suburbs for the last 30-something years. I had a brief sojourn in Kew, but came back here. I've actually built 2 houses in Carlton, and I've renovated no less than 5 houses in Fitzroy and North Fitzroy. And I can tell you, I'm not going to do that again because it's just very hard. But I commend those who are still part of that wonderful process of moving and restoring and preserving our beautiful buildings, as well as those who are choosing to lead a new kind of life, which I've become familiar with lately, the tower ecosystem it's called. And if you check my policies, you'll see that I've had quite a bit to say about the way in which we have to shift our consciousness from living on the ground to living in vertical communities and using vertical schools. We have to understand if we're all going to live here together in Melbourne, there's got to be a range of accommodation, and it all has to be viable. It all has to give people community amenity, and that's very important to me. It would be important to my family as I talk to my children and my grandchildren and my wide circle of friends and acquaintances, which is an enormous benefit that one is able to develop on council. I feel that I'm very well placed to understand what makes life livable for people in our city.